Semi-final between Stephen Dunnett and Dominic Harvey.
Yep, they're on their game 2. I don't know the standings right now. They decided to move them in because they wrapped up their first game right about the time that we wrapped up our
match. So we decided we were going to showcase the second round of their match for the audience to see, as we figured, be a little intermission between rounds 8 and 9.
Yeah, so if anybody who's been watching the stream the entire time we've been here, you might remember Dominic from our first round play.
Second round.
A second round?
He was in second round.
Okay. Yeah, with his single Niv Mizzet creature in his Is It control deck?
Yeah, playing Wilderness Reclamation to build Inevitability and flood the opponent.
Yeah, so
let's just go with the formalities. You are currently watching the Harry Tarantula Challenge Series for StarCityGames.com Invitational Qualifier for February 16th, 2019.
Oh, and it looks like Dominic took the first game, so...
Yeah, it looks like we are already going into our sideboarding options. It appears Steve is playing Drakes.
Yep. I am not surprised by that. Drakes have been performing pretty well.
Yes, it's a very strong archetype to be playing in this format.
Yeah, especially with a lot of the instants and sorceries that you have available to you in Red and Blue. Dominic, as anybody may know,
he is currently doing the Star City Tour. He is currently second with 58 points. He won the Worcester Open on January 12th and 13th, and he is from Toronto and 26 years old.
Yep. He was in our booth here a little while ago talking about his build, because it was kind of an interesting one. It was kind of an interesting build. He admitted that it was more of a homebrewish type. So the performance on it has proven itself, him getting to the top 4 and possibly, depending on how these games go here, making it to the finals. So yeah, they're just shuffling up right now. Given that Steven's on the play, we're going to see just how these guys decide to...
what kind of options are going to take against one another?
Yeah. Dominic has a fairly... fairly interesting sideboard here.
I mean, he's got the Rekindling Phoenix. He's got the Enigma Drake. Biogenic Ooze, should the need come up for it.
Yep.
Along with the suite of removal and counter spells, including 3 negates, 2 lava coils, 2 crushing canopies.
Yeah. So, and a single Gift of Paradise to make it 3 if he plays it. Yeah. So let's see how this plays out. It's kind of an interesting one. Stephen Dunnett is running a Drake build, so the Enigma Drake, 4 Enigma Drake, 4
Crackling Drake, and 4 Terramander.
Yep, so it's looking pretty standard build.
Yep.
Standard build.
Yeah, the Drakes are very much Grixis, and we've got Rug for Niv Mizzet over here, so...
Yeah, that 4 Wilderness Reclamations running on Dominic's side have proven to be really helpful for a lot of his counter and removal.
Yeah, so I think the real question is, who's going to land Search for Azcanta first?
Yeah, that is a good one.
Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Harry Tarantula. You can see our username at the bottom of the screen. There's where we will be tweeting about the stream. So really, the tweets will point you here, and then we'll point you back to Twitter, and then they'll point you here, and then we'll point you back to Twitter.
Thing is, Steven's only running one search, and it's in his sideboard, versus Dominic running two. I don't know if he sideboarded any of them out. Didn't have a chance to see all that they chose. And we're off to the races. Looks like Steven plays an island and passes a turn. Harvey follows up with a Shockland and brings him down to 18.
Breeding pool.
Yep.
Here we go, the opt. It's going to the bottom.
Yep. So, that extra card advantage.
Well, it's really more of a card replacement. It's like quality.
Yeah.
Here comes the Steam Vents. Terramander.
Into an opt. End step. Yeah, this is kind of the...
into a Steam Vents.
kind of the interesting build that Dominic has. His Niv Mizzets really benefit a lot. Really add a lot of advantage to him.
Okay, Terramander goes in.
For one, bringing Dominic down to 17. This is an interesting little matchup here.
Yeah.
That's a chart, of course.
Of course, of course.
Of course, of course.
Chart, of course.
Of course, of course.
Okay, we need to stop. I know it's getting late in the day, but
yeah,
we haven't devolved into complete absurdity yet.
Yeah, we've been here quite a while. It's been 7 hours so far. Quite a lot of matches going through.
Quite a lot.
So,
yeah, it looks like both players are just building up their boards at this point. We got Growth Spiral, allowing for some of that sweet ramp.
Yeah. Dominic hasn't really made much of a board presence, but Steven hasn't only played the one so far.
Yeah, here comes Hinterland Harbor.
And he passes the turn. All right. So, Steven's Grixis build. Is it Grixis?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's Grixis.
Okay.
With
Yes.
that Dargon Skull Summit
Yes.
and the Sulphur Falls and the
He has one black producing.
land. It's a Grixis, but it's Splash.
Yeah, it's very Izzet with black.
Yeah.
So,
It's slightly crooked, is it?
I was gonna say it's.
Oh, blink of an eye on the Drake.
Yeah.
Kicked? Is it kicked? Is he drawing the card? Do we have a Spell Pierce to come out against it?
Ooh, Steven has to make some.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's this is quite the match. This does set Steven back.
Yeah.
The thing about Dominic is he is losing life. He's down to 14 already. He has been... It's a very control-y kind of deck that he runs. And,
Is he gonna sneak past with Wilderness Reclamation now? Is this where we're going?
quite possibly.
Reclamation Boys 2019. That
It's a...
no, that is not Reclamation. That is Gift of Paradise.
Yep.
Gift of Paradiso.
And then follows it up with an up. Steam Vents tapped, passes turn.
Oh,
Haven't seen a lot of aggression out of Steven's side.
I mean, the Terramander's trying to do work, but
Yeah.
he's already planted 6 points of damage.
Yeah. Part of that was Dominic taking 2.
Mm-hmm.
I believe so. Off of an untapped land.
Untapped shock land.
Yep. So he's down to 13. Thing is that Steven hasn't really played a lot of...
Here comes the Drake.
Yep. Steven hasn't really played a lot of instants or sorceries, because his deck seems more responsive than anything.
Yeah, it seems like both sides are really gunning for like the control side of the matchup here. And a lot of the damage that's being eked out here is mostly incremental.
All on Steven's side.
Yeah, it looks like Dominic hasn't really done too much to play the aggressor here.
Yeah, and that Drake really tilts the scales in favor of Steven a lot.
Drake, scales, I get it. I'll stop.
So yeah, just watching this play out as it does. Let's see how Dominic runs this.
Lava Coil, take out that Drake.
Yep.
Waste that Drake.
Yeah.
Is he going to negate it? He has the option. Or is Dominic saving up for something better? Nope, he lets the Drake go.
Yeah, so Steven still has a negate in hand.
Steam vents and passes the turn.
Steven's still has a negate in hand.
Yes, he does, along with Discovery Dispersal, Crackling Drake, and lands.
I think part of the issue is just how demanding the Crackling Drake has been for mana.
Wow. I mean, he can very easily cover it. It's 4 mana.
Yeah, but he wants to keep the mana up for the negate, obviously.
Or the Disdainful Stroke he's also pocketing at the moment.
Yeah, there's a... Which is probably the issue with Steven right now, is that he hasn't been able to really play the aggressor.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to break past those counter spells that he appears to have suspected but not detected. All right. So here we go. We get the Discovery. Is he gonna get an answer out of it? Expansion.
Yeah. Dominic's running 4 expansion explosions. So...
Yeah, just using that to get his own copy of Discovery at this point.
So, if you don't need to counter it, you can take some advantage as well.
Yeah.
Guess that's...
Get that Surveil going.
Yeah.
Get that sweet Surveil going.
Yeah. Surprisingly, Dominic's deck doesn't run any Drakes, so a lot of the instants and sorceries he has been throwing to the bin don't really add any sort of advantage.
Yeah.
But it's right now I think he's just trying to keep pace with Steve's card advantage.
Yeah.
So
meanwhile, that Terramander is very slowly and incrementally taking Dominic's life total down.
I think part of the problem, too, is that at some point that Terramander is going to become a huge issue for Dominic.
He goes for the alt.
So giving him that extra bit of card advantage as well.
Yeah.
Not sure what he scryed, but seems to be deliberating on it. And he draws it. All right. So it's another expansion explosion. All right. I guess if nothing else, he still has some sort of answer and hopes to get to a point where he can start getting some really good board advantage.
Okay, so we've got Crackling Drake, Negate, Disdainful Stroke, Dive Down, and Opt.
Yeah. I mean, the tricky part is for Steven right now is that he's been sort of sitting on 5 lands for a few turns, so he hasn't been able to play that Crackling Drake without any sort of extra cards in his hand. And with the card advantage that Dominic's been getting, he has been able to drop quite a few lands each turn, even opting for dropping the lands tapped, just because he has that many lands untapped passing the turn. So Steven is kind of slowly out of options as it goes. Slowly trying to get up there so that he can actually play the Crackling Drake with some lands up. I think Dominic might be reading into that pretty well, which is why he's been... Oh, and another land drop off of Dominic. So this is Dominic has quite a fun-looking deck by the looks of it. And Steven finally gets his Terramander going.
Yeah, just breaking right through into Explosion.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I don't know if Steven has an answer to that. I think he still has a negate in his hand. Can't really decide if it's something that he's thinking about it. Can't really decide if it's something that he wants to do. Oh, so that's cast down? Was that a cast down he dropped? Steven dropped there?
Oh, that's a Disdainful Stroke.
Oh, Disdainful Stroke.
Yeah, and that was in turn met with a Sinister Sabotage.
Yeah, so Dominic has finally got rid of that
Terramander.
Yeah, that's been eating away at his life total for the last quite a few turns.
That is a hill to die on.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Steven seems to have burned through a few of his counter spells, trying to protect that Terramander. And it looks like he's probably going to play his Drake now.
Yep.
So...
all right, the boss fight begins.
Yeah, the Drake is high enough in life.
Power where it could get like really nasty really quickly.
Yeah, and the thing is that Dominic does... I'm not too sure if Dominic actually has a very good answer to that for toughness.
Oh, search for Azcanta.
Yep. Plays a land.
Yep. And he says go. Passes the turn with the Drake on the board.
Yeah, so that Drake's going to be swinging in for 7? By the looks of it.
That's what it appears to be.
Yeah.
So 6 actually.
6.
Terramander is not an instant or sorcery.
So 6. That's pretty heavy. That would bring Dominic down to 5. So just have to... Oh, and another Terramander.
Yep.
So this is kind of the...
Okay, Azcanta flips.
Kind of the critical turn right now.
Yeah, this is... Okay, so this is going to decide the game.
Yeah.
If Dominic can't come back, then we are going to game 3. If he can, then that's the match, and then we go to the finals.
So, looks like Dominic's trying to decide what to do right now. Drops a land, and Niv Mizzet. Okay.
Oh boy, we know where this is going. Actually, I don't know where this is going because this matchup looks really scary.
Yeah, the thing about it right now is that Niv Mizzet probably is going to chump the Drake.
Do you think?
More than likely.
I mean, Terramander can adapt at this point.
Yeah, he can adapt pretty quickly. The thing is that I think how Dominic will want to respond to it is if he tries to adapt it, Dominic's going to cast a spell to draw a card.
Nope.
Oh.
Sadly, search for... Oh, he just scoops. Yeah, there's no way he can get around that.
That
Okay, we are standing at 1-1 for our semifinal.
That was probably what Dominic was looking for, though, because he could pull a draw spell out, like, say, an opt or something. Then that would have been just enough to deal the 1 damage to the Pteramander. And then he could pretty much throw Niv Mizzet under the bus against the Drake. But it didn't seem to pan out that way.
Nope. All right, so we are going into game 3 of the semifinal.
Yep, this is Dominic Harvey versus Steve Dunnett. Dominic Harvey is making the rounds currently with a lot of the Star City game.
He's on the Star City game tour.
Yeah, and he's at 58 points, so he's in 2nd place. He's age 26 from Toronto, recently won the Worcester Open weekend, January 12th and 13th. So it's kind of a unique little build that he's running with right now. It doesn't necessarily fit into a lot of the expected archetypes.
So for all of you just tuning in, you are currently watching the Harry Tarantula Challenge Series for the StarCityGames.com Invitational Qualifier. You can visit our website at harryt.com or the web store at harryt.crystalcommerce.com. And for all of your Magic the Gathering and related gaming needs. We are entering the 3rd game of this semifinal match between Dominic Harvey and Steve Dunnett.
Yep, so it's kind of an interesting matchup. We have one of the many Drake builds that we've seen today. Coming from Steve Dunnett. Okay. Dominic's running a sort of homebrewish build with his Niv Mizzet focus deck. It's kind of a refreshing take on some of the Izzet cards that we've been seeing. His deck also runs 4 Wilderness Reclamations, so it's kind of an interesting thing to watch. I'm not too sure if he sideboarded them out or not. He's been doing pretty well for himself. Steve, quite the same, doing pretty well for himself. So this is a deciding match.
Yep, whoever wins this match is going to get to go up against Edgar Mihalis in the final match. And whoever wins will be fated to appear at the next Star City Invitational.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm kind of excited to see how this last one will go. It was kind of a few empty board states.
Yep.
So both playing blue. I'm still muted.
Anyway, yes, they are both playing blue.
So, I mean, let's see how this plays out. They're drawing their hands right now. Steven's
Getting ready.
Having a little chat with
our producer.
Yep. And it looks like they both have fairly decent hands. A good solid 3 lands per hand kind of thing going on there. That's pretty good.
All right out the gate, we've got our usual assortment of steam vents, breeding pools, and islands.
We got an end of turn opt, scries and draws, and yeah, hey, another Sulphur Falls. So Hinterland
Harbor.
Yep. Another end of turn opt. Wow, he's really burning through
man.
those.
Hey, remember the last time we saw this many opts in a row?
Yeah, that was
Remember how that game turned out?
yeah, that was Daniel Fournier, wasn't it?
No, that was Dominic Harvey,
Oh
who
yeah.
did 3 opts in a row against his opponent.
Yeah, that was quite a quick card fixing there.
Yeah.
Added a lot of advantage to him.
Yeah, card selection was top notch. We serve only the finest memes here.
And we go to Dominic now. He's deciding. Is it Dominic? Yeah, I guess he's trying to decide what he wants to play next. Oh,
Yeah, tapped breeding pool.
yep. So, I think he kind of learned from the last match that untapped lands aren't necessarily the best.
Here we go. Get an island on the field.
So, here's the tricky part. Do we throw that Drake out?
At this point in the game? I don't think so. I think this is the time for chart a course.
Yeah.
Except without the sweet card draw.
Yeah.
Because no creatures have attack.
So,
And he pitches the other chart.
yeah.
He is holding negate and a disdainful stroke.
And 2 Drakes and a Niv Mizzet?
Niv Mizzet and Rao.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So I guess right now he's just really looking for a lot of lands.
Yeah, just getting ready to punish.
And he hasn't been...
There's just steam vents there.
Yeah, but the thing is that he's up against somebody who very obviously also runs counter spells, so...
So, when you deal with counters, there are a number of ways you can deal with them.
Yeah, and it looks... From what I've seen from Steve before, it seems like he tends to be a bit conservative on...
Okay, so he casts another chart of course.
Just to avoid...
Wow, that is 2 opts and 3 charts we've seen so far.
Well, he played one and pitched the other.
Yeah.
So... Oh, no,
and then we get expansion.
Yeah. So it looks like he's looking to play his own chart of course. Ditches the Hinterland Harbor. And
let's go for that sweet card draw.
Yeah, and it looks like he drew 2 Terramanders off of that. Oh, and he pitched the...
one of the Drakes,
yeah.
And he's just going straight for the Terramander.
Yes.
Oh, man. With this many instants and sorcerers in the yard, he can probably get that adapt really quickly, unless...
Yeah, that's 5.
Yeah, so he's 1 short to adapt right away.
Yeah. So, this isn't looking the best for Dominic, but...
And he responds with Sinister Sabotage. Is he going to let it go? Yes, he does.
Yep.
Surveil leaves it on top.
Well, it looks like he's still deciding on leaving it on top or not. Still deciding. Yep, and he does. So, to Dominic's turn now, he seems to... was that an op that he drew?
I don't know, but he did just play...
An untapped Stomping Grounds, which is quite the surprise. I guess he's looking to have a bit extra more mana advantage. It's kind of surprising. Looks like a 2 and a 3 drop he wants to play.
Here he goes. Next Terramander coming down.
Terramander number 2.
Is it going to get sabotaged?
Four.
Blink of an eye.
Wow.
Kicked. End step.
Does he negate?
No, he doesn't. Opt.
Puts that on the bottom. Draws a card. And it's an expansion explosion again. Yeah,
Goes for another opt.
Yep, puts that on the bottom. Draws a breeding pool. Wow. 3 card choices in 1 turn. End of turn.
Yeah.
Let's hit his turn now. Taps 1 for another opt. Puts that to the bottom.
Draw card.
Search for his Kanta. That's actually really helpful for him. Problem is that he might or might not know about the negate in Stephen Dunnett's hand.
I don't know. Like, they're both control players. They both have a lot of cards in hand. I don't think either is just going to go, like, wandering into another's plays and suffer literally no consequences as a result.
I think that's right now he's deliberating on what kind of path to take from here, because...
Yeah, and of course it's going to be met with a response. Here comes the negate.
And does Dominic want to expand that? Let's see what he decides. Oh, and he does
Expansion. So negate. Bonk. Oh no, is there going to be another response?
What does Steven have in hand?
Disdainful stroke. I don't think this is going to go the way he wants.
No, it isn't. Yep, so as Kanta sits, which is quite a problem, because that's generally, between that and Niv Mizzet is...
Let the flood of card advantage begin.
It's quite the powerhouse. Thing is that Dominic has gone through a lot of card draw already, so he's probably looking to...
Oh, here comes Ral. Is it Viceroy?
Huh. Obviously very unanswered. What with Dominic's 1 land up.
Yeah. Ral makes it through the window.
One thing is, right now, is that...
He bins the Drake.
That Dominic has, though, is a bit more of his own advantage, because Steven had to tap out for that, pretty much. So... yeah.
Steam vent.
All right. So... taking 2 off of that as well. That means he actually has mana up for doing stuff. But what does he want to do? Seems like a very tough choice for him. Play the spell? Are you going to play the spell? Are you going to play the spell? And passes. Yep. Not surprised by that choice.
Not even remotely.
The thing is that Dominic doesn't have a lot of...
Oh, here we go. We flips Search for Kanta.
So he gets that engine for card advantage.
Yeah.
I'm just not too sure exactly where he's going to go from there. The thing is that Steven does have a Ral Zarek on the board.
Well, Ral, is it Viceroy?
Sorry, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He has a Ral on the board.
Yeah, a Ral. Is it Viceroy?
Oh, and he drew a Spell Pierce, which kind of seems like a not necessarily helpful card right now.
You'd be surprised.
And, yeah, so he +1's Ral.
Is it Viceroy?
Is it Viceroy?
Is it Viceroy?
And...
let's see, where are we going from here? Ooh. Bin's Discovery Dispersal.
Yeah, so... Ooh, the Dragon Skull Summit.
Dargon Skull Summit, and
Plays his own Niv Mizzet.
here it goes. He's waiting for a response, isn't he?
Yeah, the thing is that that's a very tricky spot that he put him in, because Harvey doesn't really have a lot.
He's got Crushing Canopy in hand.
Yeah, but he doesn't have much. He has an Expansion Explosion, and he's probably looking to do his mini Impulse as well, which is quite a bit of mana.
So, Crushing Canopy would be like a good answer here, or Blink of an Eye even.
Yeah. So,
or I mean, if he wants, he could just like aim Explosion at Niv Mizzet.
Yeah, there's also that. It's just
I don't think he has the mana though to carry it
He has a lot of options, but he can't play all of them, and I think that's part of the problem. Is trying to decide now what he wants to do.
Well, I mean, I can see at least 2 good options here.
Yeah, but when you're looking down 2 untapped blue sources, that makes it a little bit different.
That's true.
Yeah, so I guess... Oh, and he decides to blink.
Blink kicked. That'll leave him enough to activate Azcanta, should he choose to do so later in the turn.
Yeah.
All right, let's see the bluff. Where are we going with this?
Yeah. And yeah.
Oh, blinked Ral.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. I guess because it sort of slows down Niv Mizzet, and he also has that Crushing Canopy in hand.
Yeah.
So right now he's looking to pick up some sort of extra card advantage. Is that his last opt?
Yeah, that's his 4th opt.
Wow. So he's probably, at this point it looks like he's trying to stockpile some sort of extra answer in his hand so that his Canopy can get through up against 2 untapped lands.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he does the Canopy against Niv Mizzet. He draws a card off of that. Dominic takes 1. And now Steven has to decide what he does. And Niv Mizzet dies. Wow. Alright. So that's a thing that happened. Dominic seems to be keeping things in control. Steven is actually down quite a bit in life.
3 points.
Yeah, that's enough. And another Niv Mizzet. So Dominic, I think, is going to run that opt. He's kind of on the fence about doing it. Oh, he runs Search for Azcanta. Sorry, Azcanta. And picks the...
Gift of Paradise.
Wow. And plays an opt. Decides to bottom that. Draws a card. And that looks like another... I can't quite see that. Quite unfortunate. Well, so Niv Mizzet hits the board. So let's see how Dominic decides to play this one now. 3 for Crushing Canopy.
Yep.
Again. Draws a card, deals 1 to Dominic. Does he have an answer? Looks like the only answer he has is a Spell Pierce. So, yep, looks like...
That's 2 Niv Mizzets down.
Yeah. Which is a bit surprising, because Steven's only running 3 in his sideboard.
Can he make the 3rd one stick?
Is he even playing with a 3rd one in his deck?
Real big shoe. Real big.
Wow, so it seems so far that they're just sort of trading back and forth with instants. And once in a while somebody plays a creature and it doesn't really last long enough to do anything. Dominic has very limited amount of creatures in both his main board and his sideboard.
Okay,
so,
here we go. We got another Ral entering the battlefield, the one that was blinked earlier.
So Dominic lets that through, and he +1s Ral. Wow, this is there's a lot of lands and a lot of stuff going on. Oh, another Terramander. So it looks like Dominic's response was to... Didn't actually have a response, ends up end of turn as Kantying and then picking up the... yeah. So,
1 second.
Dominic has some extra advantage right now in terms of cards, lands up and whatnot. Steven has been slowly and painfully cycling through a lot of his creatures, trying to just get that board state where he can start putting a lot of pressure on Dominic. With the 3 lands up now, I think Steve can responsively adapt his creature. Right?
Yeah, that could be a real issue for Dominic at this point. I mean, in the event that the creature doesn't just get like straight up murdered or lava coiled in response. Okay, it looks like he's trying to adapt. Okay, he gets it.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is going to add quite a bit of pressure to Dominic now.
I mean, I don't think he would have let it through unless he knew that he had a way of dealing with it at this point, so...
That's true. Steven has been pretty careful with his decisions on this.
Yes, he has been pretty careful.
And he's swinging in and dropping an Enigma Drake.
Good old Enigma Drake. It's probably got a lot of extra power now, given that both players have burned through a silly amount of instants and sorceries.
Yeah.
So straight up very, very silly.
This is kind of a tough spot for Dominic to be in right now, because if he doesn't really play many answers against this, he's dead in the water.
I mean, he's got lava coils, so he should be fine.
Should be. The creatures... Enigma Drakes get power equal to the...
number of instants and sorceries in your graveyard.
So we're looking at... about 7 each.
Yeah, but if he's sitting on a coil and he's got, like, expansion in hand...
Yeah.
See? Look at that. He's already firing one.
This is really forcing Steven to play.
He's got Dive Down.
Yep.
Sinister Sabotage.
Yep. Which is a bit surprising, because Steven actually saw him pull that out with his mini Impulse.
But he only lost 1 Drake in the process.
Yeah. So...
unless Dominic has a way of, like, really getting rid of those last 2 creatures, then... Oh, second coil. Okay.
Yep. With 4 lands up still.
Yep. Let's see. What are we going to get out of this? What's... Spell Pierce. And then he just pays the 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another Drake down.
Yeah, so I guess there's the advantage there that he actually caused Dominic to tap down quite a bit more, so Dominic can't run his Azcanta
That's true.
at the end of turn. So it's not like it's a really poor decision here. It does
Yeah.
limit Dominic's ability
To respond severely.
or to just do any sort of end of turn plays as well.
Yeah. Ral ticks up.
Yep, so he draws.
What's he gonna throw? What's he gonna
Oh, that's
do?
a tough one there because he's looking at a charging, crackling Drake. He just threw in the bin.
Yeah, no, he took the disdainful stroke.
Yeah, so
I think it's pretty clear at this point that he's just protecting Ral.
yeah,
Yeah, so
I'm not exactly sure how Dominic's gonna reach his inevitable win. I don't think he's gonna reach any sort of inevitability.
no, not in this matchup, I don't think.
Yeah, so it looks like Steven might.
Might be able to carry it.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how Dominic handles his card advantage. So now we see a crackling Drake coming out, and another land. And into a search for Azcanta.
Yep, that is search.
Yep. So that one flies through.
So unless Steve can really stop what's going on here,
Dominic.
sorry, unless Dominic can really stop what's going on here, Ral is sitting on his emblem, and as soon as that emblem fires, it's game over.
Yeah. I think Dominic might be right out of options.
Yeah, because
He does have another expansion explode.
oh, Niv Mizzet, huh?
Yeah.
Okay,
That
let's
might
see.
be-
Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
he
gets
lets it through.
Yeah. So the unfortunate thing is Dominic has burned through all of his ops.
Yeah.
So this is really more of a wait and see kind of thing right now. If Steve tries to play a spell, he can tick down. He can basically just get enough damage out to kill.
Okay, Azcanta flips.
Gets enough damage out of Ralzaic there to.
Oh man, he's going for the growth spiral.
Okay, so he gets a card draw and keeps Steven off the emblem. There you go. This is a very long and slightly difficult match.
Anyway,
And
yeah, he gets an expansion.
out of that as well, so he draws an additional card and deals 1 damage to the Enigma Drake. Sorry,
Yeah.
Charging Drake.
Crackling
Drake. Sorry, it's been quite a day today.
Yeah, it's been quite a match.
Yeah, so yeah, decides to draw a card, deal another damage to the Crackling Drake. And he got into a syncopate, so and a land play off of the growth spiral.
And he's going to try to syncopate it.
I think this is sort of the turnaround that Dominic was hoping to see. The Niv Mizzet generally is kind of the way he's built his deck.
For Azcanta.
The way Dominic has built his deck really capitalizes on Niv Mizzet's ability
To fire off spells at rapid speed.
Yep. So
Hey.
the problem is that Steve really can't respond to this spell-wise. because it's just going to force Niv Mizzet to do the same amount of damage anyway.
Yeah.
So Steve is probably going to see a dead, crackling Drake. Unfortunately, he's not really... he's taking his time really trying to figure out if he can replace it. And what are we? Alright, so he gets the 3 damage in on the charging Drake, crackling Drake, and 4 tops it off.
I think that was maximize velocity.
Okay, so 4 damage off, kills the crackling Drake. Now Steve has no real option. He can tick up Ral, but anytime he decides to
Kill Niv Mizzet.
Niv Mizzet. So, and he plays an opt. So that keeps Ral off the emblem. Plays another Pterodon, and it looks like they end the match.
Yeah.
I think Dominic kind of realized the
Inevitability of the situation.
Yeah, he didn't really have much of an answer to any of that. So, looks like Steve took it.
Yep. All right, so for those of you who have just tuned in, or those of you who have been watching, this is the Harry Tarantula Challenge Series for StarCityGames.com Invitational Qualifier for February 16th, 2019. We have just witnessed the end of the second semifinal match between